I've been watching some Zidnaf videos and enjoying them quite a bit. I watched a Corey Anton video recently that was kind of blurry, and it got me to wondering about Corey and him feeling, or they to whom he was speaking, feeling insignificant. But that's another talk. Zidnaf proposed that English might be a Semitic language, and that a whole bunch of languages could be thought of as Phoenician languages. And in watching another of his videos about languages of the Jews, it brought up a bunch of thoughts about lost tribes and how the Caucasians, those people coming over the Caucasus Mountains out of nowhere, might have actually migrated from somewhere. And I was then thinking about, in terms of language, how Iberia is said to mean or have derived from Eberland or Hebrew land, and Ireland from Iberia. And the myths and the legends, they go way back, and they're mentioned all over the internet. No big deal. Unless it is a big deal. And then I asked myself, so what? So what if the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was a sort of Indra and did in fact appear on the stage of history in some kind of a multi-dimensional reality of sorts? Now, Jesus, it appears to me, continues to be the axis mundi, the world axis in terms of time, whether time is reckoned by CE, the Common Era, or AD, Anno Domini, and before that, BC or BCE, there's still this zero time, and it brings to my mind the end of time, or the end of the age, after which God, Jesus, however one may think of the two or the three, will no longer be as significant as Corey might have alluded to, without alluding to it at all, until the end of the age, until the end of time. And it could be that we are now entering a new age where God, the old Indra, does not manifest quite like as in the olden days, when animism and superstition was all the rage and people were in a daze. Now there is the science days, and appearances have shifted, and what is thought to be the truth has shifted. And even people go so far as to say it's an illusion that the sun goes around the earth, when I would say, no, it's an appearance that the sun goes around the earth, and from a different perspective, it's an appearance that the earth goes around the sun. It's remarkable to me how dead people can make appearances, such as Jesus was said to have, or Yukteswar was said to have, or anyone's dearly departed might, but they don't stick around for long. They sort of pop in and out, and there seem to be these dimensions. And so what? So what if there is a self, an Atman, a Brahman, a God, an Indra? Out for a jog this morning, it occurred to me how Tao Te Ching 1.1, 1.2, how the jog that is the jog sort of jogged my mind, how the route that is a route is not always the route. There is not necessarily any the route, and how meaning is able to be meaning, yet is not always the meaning. And there isn't necessarily any such a thing as the meaning. And if so, so what? So I have these world views, what Alan Watts called at times the ceramic as a God Indra view, the dramatic, which is also a Hindu Indra self view, and the organic, the Taoist view. And then there is the scientific view, which tends to be more of a mechanistic view or a quantum view, a measured out view. And so, sewing all these views together into a view of views, I ask myself, so what? What have I sewn? What have I woven? What is there to weave in a theory of everything? What if reality is multidimensional? So what? I think Mom used to say, sew buttons. At one level of perception, something might mean everything. At another level, the same thing means nothing. An answer to a question, so what? A cartoon might have said, that's what. That is what. This is what. Talking for the sake of talking, as if it were a kind of music. Today I learned it sounded as if muse, the word, comes from mouth, or they share the same root. I'm not exactly sure. It sort of flashed by real quick in one of Zindaf's videos. Zidnaf, not Zindaf. And that's how languages change. And I wondered if Zidnaf would have something to say about whether or not it could be traced. The Celtic languages, the Scythian languages, back to and through the Middle Eastern languages. I suppose Proto-Indo-European could do that easily enough. To speak for the sake of speaking. That could be a what. What else? I'm not sure. I suppose that's enough for now, though. Enough is the what that is what.